Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything you've been chasing, success, approval, recognition, even happiness, has been slipping through your fingers, not because the world is against you, but because you've been playing a game that's rigged from the start. Everyone else seems to know the rules, moving confidently through life, while you feel trapped, anxious, frustrated, and powerless. You've been taught to focus on outcomes, to measure your worth by what happens outside of you, and to surrender your peace to forces you cannot control. And the more you try to hold on to them, the more they slip away. But what if I told you that there is a way to flip the entire equation, a way to turn the chaos of the world into your advantage, to become unstoppable, and to harness a kind of inner power that most people spend their entire lives searching for in vain? This is not just a philosophy lesson. This is a psychological awakening, a method to train your mind to operate like a weapon, precise, focused, and immune to distraction. The first step is shocking in its simplicity yet devastatingly effective. Control only what belongs to you. Sounds easy, right? But in reality, this is where 90% of people fail. They obsess over the opinions of others, the outcomes of their work, the whims of fate, as if these external forces define them. And the more they try to control these things, the more anxious and powerless they feel. Meanwhile, a few rare individuals have discovered the secret. The world does not have to control you. Your reactions, your discipline, your thoughts, your effort, these are yours, and when you master them, you unlock a level of freedom and strength that is terrifyingly effective. People begin to notice it, though they can't quite put their finger on what makes you so different. It's quiet, it's steady, it's a force they cannot manipulate or predict. It doesn't stop there. Once you separate yourself from the results and outcomes, the things outside your control, you begin to act with a clarity and decisiveness that shocks even the most confident around you. Fear loses its grip, hesitation disappears, and every action becomes deliberate, powerful, and unstoppable. You stop running from life and start bending it to your rhythm. Even failure, when it comes, loses its sting because it is no longer a judgment of your worth. You see it, you learn from it, and you convert it into fuel for your next move. And here's the final twist. The very struggles, the pain, the betrayals, and the setbacks that once broke you become the tools that build you into something others can't touch. Life's chaos becomes your forge, and every blow you endure transforms into strength, clarity, and resilience. By the time most people are waking up to reality, you've already evolved beyond it. You're dangerous not because you seek to harm, but because you are untouchable, unstoppable, and unshakable. This is the power of the mind when it is trained in stoic precision, psychological mastery, and ruthless self-discipline. And by the end of this video, you won't just understand it, you'll feel it stirring within you, a force ready to take control of your life in ways you never imagined possible. If you want, I can also make an even stronger, ultra-cinematic version that hooks people in the first 10 seconds like a psychological thriller, perfect for engagement on YouTube or Shorts. Do you want me to do that? When you truly begin to understand the idea of controlling only what is within your power, something shifts inside you in a quiet but irreversible way. Most people live as if they are responsible for everything. The opinions of others, the outcomes of their efforts, the randomness of life itself. They carry this invisible weight every day, wondering why they feel anxious, frustrated, and constantly on edge. The truth is simple, but not easy to accept. They are trying to control what was never theirs to control. But your peace is not contingent upon applause, recognition, or the final result. This subtle distinction is what separates the average performer from the truly powerful individual. One is driven by external validation, the other by internal mastery. The former is a slave to circumstance. The latter is free in any circumstance. Epictetus emphasized this principle repeatedly. He taught that our focus should be on the process, on our own behavior, on our intentions. The external world is unpredictable and often indifferent. People may act in ways that betray us, opportunities may be lost, circumstances may change abruptly. If we tie our happiness or sense of self-worth to these factors, we are constantly vulnerable. But if we devote ourselves to action for its own sake, we cultivate a stability that no external force can shake. Detaching from outcomes also cultivates a form of courage that is often misunderstood. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to act despite fear. And one of the greatest fears humans face is failure. We fear being judged, rejected, or proven wrong. By focusing solely on the action, the deliberate effort we can control, we neutralize this fear. Failure in the traditional sense becomes irrelevant because it does not touch the essence of our effort. Success, when it comes, is a bonus, not a necessity. Another powerful aspect of this principle is its capacity to turn pressure into clarity. In high-stakes situations, people often crumble because they are fixated on the outcome. Every decision is burdened by potential consequences, every action measured by imagined results. But when you commit to the action itself and release attachment to the result, your mind becomes free. You can act decisively without hesitation, without second-guessing. You respond to circumstances with calm precision because your energy is directed entirely toward what you can influence. This mindset also reshapes our relationship with disappointment and frustration. Life is unpredictable, and even our best efforts do not always yield desired results. Detachment allows us to navigate setbacks with composure. Instead of internalizing failure as a reflection of our worth, we analyze what we can control, learn from it, and move forward. The emotional turbulence of disappointment diminishes because our value is no longer tethered to an outcome. This resilience is a rare and powerful trait, one that allows individuals to sustain effort over the long term without being derailed by temporary setbacks. Detachment also fosters humility and perspective. When you understand that results are influenced by countless external variables, luck, timing, other people's actions, you stop arrogantly claiming full credit for your successes. Simultaneously, you stop blaming yourself entirely for failures. This balanced perspective reduces both pride and self-recrimination, allowing you to maintain equanimity in the face of the world's unpredictability. You become more patient with yourself and others, recognizing that control is limited and effort is what matters most. The commitment to action without attachment to outcomes strengthens consistency. Most people act inconsistently because they are motivated by immediate rewards or fearful of consequences. Stoic detachment fosters consistency because effort itself becomes the standard, independent of reward. This creates a discipline that compounds over time. Small actions, performed steadily and intentionally, accumulate into extraordinary results, not because of obsession with outcomes, but because of relentless focus on the process. Moreover, this principle enhances clarity in decision-making. When you are not emotionally bound to a specific result, you can evaluate options objectively, weighing risks and benefits without panic or bias. You act based on reason and principle, not impulse or desperation. This clarity is a form of power. Transformation rarely occurs instantly. Pain may strike repeatedly, tests may be relentless, and growth may feel slow. Yet the Stoic mindset embraces this process, understanding that strength is cumulative. Each challenge adds a layer of resilience, each setback deepens wisdom, and each moment of endurance builds capacity for future trials. By viewing life as a series of opportunities for growth, rather than as a sequence of threats to comfort, we cultivate persistence, strategic thinking, and inner fortitude. Turning pain into power also strengthens our capacity for empathy and connection. When we face difficulty ourselves, we gain insight into the struggles of others. This understanding allows us to act with compassion and guidance toward those who suffer. Hardship, when embraced thoughtfully, not only empowers the self, but also enhances the ability to influence and support others positively. Strength in this sense is not isolated. It radiates outward, shaping relationships and communities. Finally, this Stoic approach cultivates a profound sense of freedom. By embracing life as it is rather than resisting it, we release the chains of fear, resentment, and dependence on circumstance. Pain is no longer a threat, but a tool. The unpredictable nature of life loses its power to destabilize us. Our focus shifts from controlling the uncontrollable to mastering our own reactions, thoughts, and action. In this way, every challenge, every discomfort, and every loss becomes an opportunity to practice freedom in the truest sense. Freedom from being ruled by fortune, by emotion, or by circumstance. The journey of turning pain into power is continuous and demands courage, discipline, and reflection. Each challenge, each setback, and each hardship presents an opportunity to apply this principle. Over time, Those who practice it consistently cultivate a rare form of inner strength, the ability to remain composed, focused, and purposeful regardless of external conditions. Pain becomes a teacher, adversity becomes a forge, and life itself becomes the instrument through which mastery of self is achieved. This is the Stoic way, to convert every hardship into fuel, every wound into wisdom, and every challenge into power. By now, you've seen the secret that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. You've learned that control is not about bending the world to your will, but about mastering yourself. That the real power is not in outcomes, accolades, or the approval of others, but in your own discipline, focus, and clarity of thought. You've discovered that fear, doubt, and uncertainty are not walls meant to trap you. They are signals guiding you to act with courage, precision, and intention. The very things that intimidate most people, that cause them to hesitate, crumble, or retreat, are the exact forces that, when mastered, make you formidable. Imagine carrying this mindset into every corner of your life. Every challenge becomes a test of your strength, every setback a stepping stone, every criticism an opportunity to refine yourself. Life stops being a series of random blows and starts becoming a canvas on which you deliberately paint your power. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance because circumstance has no control over the one thing that matters most: your response, your effort, your mastery over your own mind. And here's the final truth: the world cannot give you power, but it can awaken it within you. Every obstacle, every painful moment, every failure is a chance to sharpen yourself. Every time you refuse to let fear or frustration dictate your action, you transform pain into strength, doubt into clarity, and chaos into opportunity. This is not theory, it is strategy, practiced by the greatest minds who ever lived. From emperors to philosophers, from warriors to innovators, they understood that the path to dominance, resilience, and unstoppable momentum is internal, not external. Now ask yourself, are you willing to step into that mindset? Are you ready to stop surrendering your energy to what you cannot control, to stop fearing outcomes, to embrace discomfort, and to turn every challenge into a weapon of growth? Because once you do, the ordinary world falls away, and a new version of you emerges, focused, disciplined, and unshakable. You become someone who moves through life not as a victim of circumstance, but as a master of self. This is the point where most people stop listening, distracted by noise, by fear, by habit. But you, the one still paying attention, are about to step into a rare space of understanding. You've seen the map, but it is your steps that will determine the journey. Every choice from this moment on, every action you take, carries the potential to transform you into the person you've always imagined, but never thought you could become. So remember, control yourself, detach from outcomes, and embrace life's challenges as fuel. Make these principles your weapon, your shield, and your compass, because the world will not shape you unless you allow it, but it will test you relentlessly. And the difference between those who falter and those who rise, between the average and the extraordinary, is the ability to act, adapt, and endure with unshakable mastery. By the end of this video, you are not just hearing a speech, you are being challenged. The question is no longer about what the world will do to you, but what you will do with the power you now know lies within. Will you remain ordinary, or will you step into the arena of the unstoppable? The choice is yours, and the time is now. If you want, I can also craft a cinematic, punchy final line for this conclusion that will leave your audience on the edge of their seat and obsessed until the very last second of the video. Do you want me to do that?